Alright, we're back. So, let's get on with it. I'll say this, it has been quite some time since the last recording session, because it's about 2 weeks. Because last time, there was just 0 time to record. But a lot's being done is quite nice. Yeah, so... in effect, I have been sitting on... in effect, I've been sitting on the current topic I'm thinking of for quite a while, because I actually thought of it before the last session. And, well, we all know how that got completely derailed by the whole, God is dead and we have killed him. And what it does mean, and what it could mean. Yeah. So, right, as to the topic itself, it's not exactly expired by the text as what happened last time. It's a concept that's a little different. I don't know why I'm over here. Yeah, let's stick with that for now. Just focus on getting production up. And out of the way. If I don't have to deal with it anymore, that would be quite nice. Oh, and if it does sound like I'm using a key sometimes to click, as I might be right now, it's because I've programmed one of the keys on my keyboard to act as a mouse click. So that I can, well, you know, the clicking is inconsistent. This helps avoid that. Although for something like this, I don't actually need to be careful about it. Because as long as I click at least once, when I'm hovering over something that I want clicked, it's fine. Could turn into a problem otherwise, but in this specific set of circumstances, yeah, this is fine. The way things are going now. I'll get a new mouse eventually. It won't be a problem forever, don't worry about it. Right, wrong key. Of course, this does mean that I keep, because it's right next to the escape button, I keep mixing up which is the switch. So, and I've been doing this for a little while. I still need to use the mouse to actually point at stuff, but it can do that fine for at least some time longer. Probably. Anyway, back to the topic itself, which... yeah. How do I seg into this well? Because it certainly is a topic of all time. Okay, I'll stop with that. Yeah, it's actually rough figuring out how to best start the topic. Well, yeah. I'm sure most of you have heard at some point the concept of a personality cult. This topic is at least to some extent, a similar idea. However, instead of it being, you know, a personality cult, it's the more general concept of hero worship. Which, well, I personally find it strange. But then again, I've already known for a fairly long time that my methods of thinking are rather strange. At least when in comparison to other people. I just don't really 100% think in the same way. The longer I sit around and interact with the internet, the more obvious it becomes. But moving on from that, hero worship is effectively seeing a person as someone great, amazing, and wishing to emulate them, or otherwise holding their words as the truth, one way or another. You know, just like the constant adulation coming from the game. Except I'm mildly annoyed by this. Because it keeps going on and on and on. Oh, it's done. Thankfully. Okay, I can mine this tile. Ah, you built the animation studio. Now we need the CGI animation studio. Have you completed the digital offices yet? Oh, okay, build those as well. Biofuel power plant is really good, same with the gesture recognition software, and sure, Cloud Server as well. Yeah, that was a circumstance in which pressing the key certainly worked better. I just hope I don't cause problems with the keyboard too, like this. No, this is not the first mouse that has managed to do this break in exactly this manner. So forgive me if I'm a little concerned about it. Okay, let's get these out of the way. I need the design studio, it's unavoidable. Animation studio, and I'm sure the modern offices haven't been built yet. I do need these two buildings as well for later stuff. Right, where's the modern offices? No, wait, I wouldn't be able to. Yeah, the design studio requires the modern offices, so. Ahem? Okay. I can't be in that window. Fine. Built a tea plantation. But yeah, hero worship is effectively that. It's seeing a person as a hero and... Yeah. I don't really do this, but I know people do. So it's worth talking about. Especially in comparison with the phenomenon of the personality cult. Because really, one of these looks like a downplayed version of the other. In order to do that, I really should define the personality cult, though. A personality cult is where a leader of some kind, almost always political, but could also be religious, or simply cultural, establishes a cult following in which people effectively treat them as infallible. I think it should be pretty obvious what exactly I think of that. But yeah, that's essentially what a personality cult is. As I said, it's usually political, but isn't necessarily that way. Thankfully, it happens to be one of the more consistent aspects of it. Yeah, it's fairly a rough thing to deal with. And rightfully maligned because, well, it's a very easy way to establish political control. If you can successfully pull it off. Otherwise, you look like a complete and utter raging narcissist. See what a lot of people think of, honestly, just grab a random dictator from the last century. It was either that or horrifying monster. One of those two tends to be the opinions that crop up if you ask about random 20th century dictator. Or 21st century dictator. Okay, 21st century dictator is too recent. You do have those people with the the personality cults. It's still all genuine. There's still a layer of genuineness about it. Genuine belief. And that's still true for some of those dictators as well. Otherwise, Stalinism wouldn't be nearly as popular, I guess. I can't think of a good way to describe it. As it is nowadays. I don't know, saying popular feels wrong. Because there's not that many actual Stalinists around. They're just loud. Very loud. And potentially not employed. So that they have a very easy time being so noisy. Okay, yeah, with no more production in that city. This one still has a couple things to build though. I'm not gonna bother. Oh. Okay, if I put my mouse out of the way, it might work. Okay. I'm surprised I haven't done the advanced metalworks yet. Yeah, it looks like I should build those first. That's the titanium smith. That's fine, I did actually want to remove both of those, so the accidental double click actually worked in my favor. A bit unusual, but it happens. Quit honking my ear, please. Noisy, noisy, noisy cities. Do need a design studio as well, so. Okay, now it works for some. It's weird. But yeah, the personality cult is. Ugh. Neat. This gives me a trade route in every city and plus 10% of, well, the commerce stuff essentially. Gold, science, culture. Great project complete. The world now is truly interconnected. It's something that people can actually use if they're not scientists or something. Of course, some might say I've forever ruined this planet. But I'm sure similar people would argue I've done the same with what I've achieved. 100 cities. Okay, so. Normal production in the city. I don't want the hypocrite. No. Science? Excellent. I can use the mouse for this one. This intended purpose. I believe the info-nets need to be built. Yeah, if there's a wonder that gives it for free, it's not shit. So I essentially have to say, probably not. I built a CAD studio? There it is, okay. Right. Tire factory? Probably. Cable cars. This. That. How about this? Take that. Hardy, hardy, har. Nope, nope, nope. Not the photovoltaic roofs. Those can wait until later. And honestly, it's a long enough queue. It can handle. It can wait until the next time something comes up. I need to do the CAD studio. That requires the CGI animation studio, which is right here. I do know that I have the computer stuff because otherwise I wouldn't be able to build these. Get a telephone network set up and a supercomputer. Ay, ay, ay. What button did I click twice? No, it just repeated the sound. Hopefully. I really do not want to have orders come out that I did not intend to have come out. Right, back to the whole, yeah, so that's what a personality code is. It's rough because it's large-scale manipulation of people's opinions. So people can get very defensive when you accuse them of either creating or falling for it. Real defensive. I don't know why the fire station alarm or police station alarm is used for the skyscraper. At this point, I don't want to ask. Okay. So, yeah. Hero worship is similar, except it's not some sort of powerful figure. At least not directly.
A life spent making mistakes is not only more honorable, but more useful than a life spent doing nothing.
Yeah. That is a lot of science inquiries. And I can build the genomics encyclopedia, which gives even more science. I do need bioinformatics labs, but... Ooh, protemic encyclopedia. I do need bioinformatics labs. What is... Oh, okay. Yeah, bioinformatics, computers, protein lab, and nucleic acid lab. That explains why I haven't built any of these. It's quite a bit of a ways into the science buildings. Yeah, it does look like I'm only going to get 3 ticks this time. We're at 20 minutes. Although Exoplanet Discovery isn't going to take quite as many turns. So I don't think it is. Um, let's just see. Okay, Vine Gatherer, Tongrove, Biofuel, gesture recognition software. Have I built it? No, I did not. Let's get the cloud server and then head on to here. I need the... Do I have the animation studio? No. Wow. Do I have the digital offices? No. Because that does at least imply that I've built the modern offices. That is at least good. Great. Okay. Next tile. This one instead. But yeah, a hero worship is more general. Because, well, it doesn't have to be specifically induced by the source person. Although you could argue that, you know, a personality cult doesn't need that, but generally speaking, well, not generally speaking, but in most circumstances, yeah, it definitely was something that the target person encouraged. For, you know, loyalty or something. Hero worship is somewhat different in that, well, the target does not even need to be a person. They just have to be some sort of character that the target finds admirable and worthy of emulation, or at least listening to. To a degree that might not be healthy, that's still. And the end result is nothing if not extremely consistent. Right. Place the tree farm with an actual farm. The farm extension, I forgot the name of it, will make up for the reductions. But yeah, like I said, it doesn't need to be an actual person. It has to be some kind of character. You can't hero worship someone that isn't a real person. Just a character in a story. You know, like a superhero. That might actually be part of where the term comes from. Anyway, we've hit 6550. Of course I'm the largest civilization. Who else but I? This can mean that the hero, it could be just a fictional character from a myth, and might also be something closer to the original of what this meant. It can also be a real person. And I get the feeling that society tries to encourage this sort of a thing, which I'm not particularly happy about. Then again, I am not the kind of person that actually actively does this sort of thing. Celebrity culture is, for example, something that I completely ignore in general. I just don't find it interesting. I just don't find them all that interesting. They're people. We have a lot of... Oh, so Campbell's Bioinformatics Labs, it's just that I haven't gotten to this yet. They're just people. People with a lot of cultural sway and whatnot. Yeah. But I'm not going to pay too much attention to them. And then here's me realizing for a moment that I could, in some extent, be considered having sway over people. I mean, it's probably not many people. It's at most, like, 20. But yeah, please don't do anything ridiculous just because I say so. Let me just get that out of the way. Anyway, yeah. There just have to be some kind of hero that you assign exceptional as a source of good external influence. If they do something, you want to do the same thing. If they don't like something, then you're inclined to dislike it too, just because they disliked it. It's somewhat encouraged and exploited for quite a while. I mean, hero stories. Heroic individuals and stories are a great way to figure out, you know, what people in those times thought was, you know, good, a good personality trait. What a good person should do. And of course, they vary. There's different groupings of people, after all. Different cultures, etc. You're not going to find the same people doing, well, the same things. People, of course, differ. Cultures differ. And not everything's going to act the way you expect it to. But yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if hero worship is really something good to go through, or even to try to encourage. Because, sure, if said hero is, a good person by however you define this, yes, the person doing the worshipping may change for the good, probably, possibly. Of course, they may also inherit negative traits, because, well, heroes are two kinds of characters. First off, real people. I don't think it's controversial to say that real people have flaws, issues, problems, etc. They make mistakes. And the same is true of interesting characters. Flawed, make mistakes, etc. Now bear in mind, characters are not people. They can do impossible things like it's nothing, because to some extent, it can be nothing. It depends on the setting. Or, well, better put, depending on the setting, they may do things consistently that would be impossible for us. And well, you know, they don't live in our world. Probably. Okay, maybe a version of our world, but not the world that we specifically inhabit. The world is mundane, although to some extent this might be because we live in it. But yeah, sad heroes can be divided into two categories. Interesting characters, which usually are flawed in some way, shape, or form, and so fall into the same pitfall.
Personally, I don't think there's intelligent life on other planets. Why should other planets be any different from this one?
uh, hilarious. Uh, let me check. I know I can send satellites out further into space. So exoplanet discovery gets me the Kepler Space Telescope, which I can do inner solar system. Inner solar system. I need to check to see if the interplanetary probe can provide me an inner solar system thing. Okay, probably, but I need solar propulsion. I'm pretty sure the satellite can't do that for me. Can it? Double click. Okay, I don't think it can. I need to check the satellite, though. Or even the interplanetary probe. Okay, so I can't specifically tell me. So what I need to do is... Alright, come on. Let's get you set up. If the interplanetary probe can do it, then great. If not, I'm not that certain what to do next. Other than, you know, science, 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 science. I'm trying to figure something out. Yeah, so hero worship, as I said. Wow, I actually went through that tech pretty quick. Hero worship, yeah. So hero characters are one of two kinds of us, as I've said. The first kind is interesting, flawed, realistic, feels like a person. The biggest issue with those is honestly rather simple. It's the exact same one as with worshipping a real person. They have problems. They're still people. Plain and simple. And that's how people are. No person is perfect. And anyone trying to elude you otherwise is trying to start up a personality cult. The other half of it are, you know, true paragons. Actual cannot, you know, do wrong characters. Which tend to be boring because they're mainly for morality stuff. But there's also the very real issue of, you know, it's impossible to be a paragon. Not without being incredibly isolated. In some way, shape, or form. Right. That should mean I can... Yeah, the farm supply. This thing's gnarly. That makes up for the fact that I don't have that anymore. Easily. And... yeah. this means that, well, if you do actually try to your best to truly emulate them constantly, unless it's a passing thing that you can easily brush off, you're basically setting yourself up for failure, and that's always rough. Because, well, the biggest problem with high expectations is not meeting them. It's very easy to fail high expectations, and that has serious problems. Because in the end, people are people. They want to do good, they want to feel good. And if you feel that you're not living up to your potential, just because you can't do something that's stupidly impossible, that hurts. And can cause some actual damage in the long run. Which is, well, excuse me for being obvious, a bad thing. Heritages. Might as well build these, especially since the city is... Yeah, it's Axum. Should be fine to have something that takes a little longer. Have I? Yeah, I've built everything interesting here. Okay. I'll let him wait and see if there's any good production buildings that come up. Maybe. Aren't I doing 3D printing soonish? Yeah, I am. So... Anything amazing there? No. Okay. Finally something closer to the norm. Yeah. That's the roughest bit of high expectations. Too much pressure and you crack somehow. Either from self-hatred or just the... well, consequences, I should say. It depends on who, who or what said consequences are coming from. Because regardless, people are people. No one is perfect, no one is immortal, and no one is immune to everything. Always something that gets in the way of that. There we go. Masdar City. Free solar photovoltaic roofs in every city. That's plus 5 production. And some maintenance. Hey, it's more power. And in quite a few cities I don't have to build that anymore. Not every city, because cities. They all progress at different rates and have their own set of circumstances. It's natural. Go to manufacturing complex. Yeah. It's at least something for the citizens to work. So they can build stuff faster. Alright, Masdar City's done. Do you have any production buildings? Gesture recognition software. Go right on ahead. Oh, you built one wonder, Suva. You can build another, can't you? I can't build the Circus Casino or the Luxor Casino. So if I build this here, I won't have to worry about accidentally doing that anymore. Sure, why not? Ooh. Funny enough, the farm supply's better. The farm supply's better. Okay. Yeah. But this is not to say that the concept of trying to improve oneself is bad. Of course it isn't. However, that is to say that you should not focus on, one or a few people, one person or even just a few people as the sole source of inspiration for this. You should at least try and judge people objectively, see what good things they have, that you like, and then try to incorporate that into yourself as best as you can. Don't take their words for gospel. They have their own issues. Nobody's perfect. And if they are perfect, then it's probably worse to try to emulate them perfectly, because there is no way that you'll ever succeed. You can come close, yeah. I am not one to discourage people from impossible tasks. I am only going to warn you that hedging too much on this would be really painful to your sense of self, to your self-worth, etc. Do not set yourself goals that you cannot reach. It is fine to dream big, but don't dream too big. Don't dream so hard that the sky falls out. There. Because it would not do to set oneself up for disappointment. Because in the end, that is just sad. Saddening to have to go through. And not just go through, to see others go through it as well. Yeah, that should be good for the save for now. I can come back later, quickly. I want to get through this fairly fast. Yeah, I'm gonna go for Vortex this time. But yeah, as I said, do not worship one person. Never do that. Honestly, worship's kind of a bad thing as it is anyway, in my opinion. To worship someone, you have to acknowledge that they are better than you, and you are worse than them, and nothing can truly change that. Which is just, honestly, kind of saddening. Because of course it is. What is the point of life if not self-improvement? Okay, so I can't do orbit. I know the satellite can only go so far, so hopefully the interplanetary probe can do that. If not, I can set up something and try to figure it out. Check to see what I need and haven't built yet. It's been a few weeks by now, so this might be a bit trickier said than done. Done than said. Might be easier said than done. So I definitely need to be careful, but I can figure it out. Okay, the city doesn't have any more production buildings left. Nice. Can you build? Yeah. But the thing takes 61 turns. I'd much rather build something cheaper here. You know what? Build a temple, why not? I'm unlikely to build it anywhere else anyway, so so many cities need their production worked on. Haven't built the digital offices here yet. Okay, I got those things at least. Biofuel power plant, just for recognition software, save the ethanol station for later. CGI studio? Yep, I figured. And I saw the digital offices were built, so no need to worry about those. Pretty sure I've gone through and built the arboretum likes and the like, the community garden, in every city that I could already. Yeah, production spiked in the city. A bit surprised. You're wandering about outside the moon. Well, cislunar space. How about the inner solar system? Can you provide me with inner solar system reward? Because I would much appreciate that. Okay, it was just a random donkey. It was not a donkey resource. Oh, time to rose that up. Oh, maglev it up. Yeah. Because yeah, that's the biggest problem with hero worship. No person is that. Yeah, the main problem is that no person is infallible. They're gonna have something that you disagree with, or perhaps should disagree with. And honestly, worship can be kind of dangerous as it is. Because no matter how much some groups want to paint devotion as, you know, a virtue, I am forever going to be leery to the concept of destroying oneself in service to something greater. Because inevitably, how do you define that? The fact of the matter is that there are quite a few people, groups, etc., that look to take advantage of people who think that way. Oops. Um, Good lord, how many cities have finished up their queues? I am in internal pain. The pain of constantly needing to make the same decisions over and over again. What am I missing? CGI animation studio. I need the design studio. Pronto. I do want to build that biofuel power plant. I don't think anything else is quite worth building yet. Okay, fine. Nope, I can't do an inner solar system thing. Can't even analyze the sun. Shoot. At the very least, I have one city that has all my space wonders. Cassini Hygiens. Okay. So, let me check the list. Asteroid, construct Dawn. I've already built Dawn, I'm pretty sure. New Horizons require the Kuiper Belt reward. Can't do it. Marina program, I believe Venus is the same. Yeah. Mars, mission to Mars is advanced stuff. Asteroid probes, yeah. Up here, yep. Jupiter, Galileo, I'm pretty sure I built you. Cassini Hygiens, yeah. Neptune. Voyager program, I believe. The Neptune atmosphere program requires Jovian exploration, which is even further along the tech tree. Neptune. Wait, did I skip Uranus? Yeah. Okay, what else can I do? Inner solar system. Oh wait, I can't do inner solar system until next turn. Okay, take a moment. It might be that I can get it, I just need to wait. Yeah, so back to the hero worship. Well, solar propulsion tech load, I guess, can be what comes up. I'm also getting a great person soon.
I've been told that I have a lot of energy. The secret is that I use renewable resources. Some days I'm solar powered. Some days I'm wind powered. And some people in this room might think I'm hybrid gas powered.
You'll just have to guess which it is today. So, Icaros. There's also the Sentinel and Solar Weather Monitor, national wonders. So they're both still wonders that can be more cheaply built via a interplanetary probe. Should this work? I think it's reasonable to do in such a manner. Sad to say, I think the suburbs are better. But yeah. Ooh, so it does work like that. Okay. Right, then that's a good reason to have you built another interplanetary probe. Let's do it one at a time. Those things get more expensive as I have more of them out. Okay, you built the digital offices, and yeah, the freelance marketplace is it. Ooh, the Arboretum. Yeah, a lot of cities have severely spiked their production amounts. This one is probably growing fast because I'm building tree farms and, you know, mines all around it. So it's not surprising that there's a lot of production here. I'm just currently working on the things that get me more production than I spend. Oh. Production equal to or greater than the amount of turns spent building. Okay. Plus a couple things that are fairly helpful. Right? Oh, I can't build any more true wonders in Alofi. I think the city just doesn't have enough culture. Still a solar weather monitor. This thing is something that would be... I'm not sure if it exists. Yeah, based on that, I don't think that's a real thing that exists right now, but solar weather is pretty important because, yeah, if we can get advanced warning of big solar events, that would be nice to have. Because, solar storms can break stuff. Yeah, so if you do want to improve as a person, using a role model is, I'm going to say using a role model is a bad idea. Using a few is not great, but okay. Using a lot of them and only for that specific thing that you want to change, well, that you want to become, a-okay. Learn from other people, but be sure that you're only learning what you want to. If you start learning the things that you don't want to, you might turn into a worse person. Or, and if you devote yourself too much to said person, well, you might start defending them for things that are honestly kind of atrocious. Yeah. And that there is, in fact, another aspect of why hero worship is something that you shouldn't do too much of. You start having trouble seeing for how these people actually are, instead of getting an idealized image, and either you're going to start defending them for, you know, atrocious things that they've done, or you're going to become sorely disappointed when they don't actually match up to your standards. Yeah. Of course, then again, I am someone who really doesn't do this, so to some extent, I don't actually understand. Yeah, well, I guess that's about it. I've said what I've had to say, approximately. Although I do wish I could have found a way to uh, bring in a small joke that I found that I thought funny. Yeah, okay, so I do need to make the design studio. But there is the digital offices I can just straight up build now. I mean, I would have put in a joke about, you know, obvious joke about person that I see as generally good. I do try my best not to do that sort of a thing. And also, another thing. Well, it's good to try to get people out of the personality cult. One of the worst ways you could do this is to start lying about said person. If you start making stuff up about this person, that is absolutely and unquestionably incorrect, then it makes it even easier for them to dig into said worship, which is not good under pretty much any circumstance. So avoid doing that if at all possible. Of course, some of the true well and truly devoted are probably just going to dig in harder and say, "Oh, but it's obvious. They've already told me that they're lying about this and this. The enemies of blank already lie. I've been told this before." Yeah, some people are just incredibly hard to get to change their minds. Stubbornness. Hooray. Huh. Still. Let's burn this thing. Yeah, we're definitely past an hour. Yeah, just keep magleving these farms up to get more food production. Okay, gesture recognition software. Yeah, nothing else interesting. Oh, just build up the rest of the science buildings, I guess. CID, freelance marketplace. Okay. Hot. 3D printing's coming up, actually, so I really shouldn't be building too much. Too long of queues, because the 3D printing allows me to build a 3D printer, which is a plus percentage production building. Sure, it replaces another building, but it's still plus percentage production. So. Yeah, I mean, if I had found a good way to do it, I would have snuck in a joke about how the only bad thing that Machno did was invent platformism. And if most of you have no idea who I'm talking about, it's probably not that bad. Oh well, it's not that big of a deal. You just won't even understand the half-aborted joke in the first place. Okay. Yeah. And I'm pretty much all talked out for the topic. I should really get to those farms from there. Hey. Into the sun you go! I might as well grab the free building, even if it can be built. Wow, less than a turn, almost certainly. It's a cheap building now. Ooh! Nice. These things are now open for me to use. I think I'll just build a nature preserve, because the quarry doesn't provide me with much. At least a nature preserve can potentially get me some bonuses. Sentry. I guess. I mean, you're not exactly doing all that much up there. Let's give you first strike immunity. I mean, it's unlikely you'll be able to actually use it.
Wizardry is the right word, for a 3D printer can really create any three-dimensional object, no matter how complicated, that you can design in a computer.
Oh, there's the makerspace. Okay, so I'll set up the next tech and the cities for this turn so I can get right back in the swing of things next time. Which will actually be sooner, probably. Rather than later. Ooh, exercise from the supercomputer would be nice. Space Station 2. Could build the Orbital Hotel. This is a regular building. Space Station Tours. I believe this is also a regular building, so... Oh, come on. Over here. Yeah. Well, there's Lunar X Prize. Mission reward Lunar. Still, I mean, I'm gonna need to do some of this stuff eventually. For space tourism specifically. Personalized health requires metamaterials, drug merchandising. Okay. I don't want to obsolete Einstein's laboratory yet. I mean, the Internet Archive would be potentially fun. Neural networks. You know what? Sure. Well, maybe I can do derivatives in order to make the farms more valuable. Or just go for machine learning for even more science. Rapid prototyping has such a long list of obsoletes that I'm gonna need to look in here. Ooh, it improves the makerspace and oh yeah, right, the evolution simulator. I forgot about that. Okay, right. Another time, perhaps. Then the derivatives. Pre-merchant university could have some interesting impacts. Let me go with rapid prototyping. That's going to take a while to get through this much, though. Okay. Alright, the temple's done. Let me handle these, and then I'll call it. Yeah, the parts plant does provide plus 25%, so the 3D printing mill is not going to provide a huge amount of production, but it's still enough to have interesting impacts. I'm gonna build a couple of these buildings and then leave the rest for later. Oh, that could be evolution simulator. Fine. There's a reason why I want that, because the plus production to the evolution simulator is quite strong for how much it costs. At least compared to many of the other buildings, and it provides a good amount of science too. So having that is nice. I should. It's G6, not control. I have no idea what that did. Or why it caused things to move on. Without me. Okay. Should be good enough for now. Okay, that's it. Right. I'm continuing to do space stuff again. Sending off stuff to the inner solar system. Next turn I'll be able to build another wonder. Although I cannot continue stuffing satellites to Alofi, sadly. I'm gonna have to pick a different city to use as, well, Space Bank, I guess. Probably Nemea or Hilo. Honestly. Maybe Faza instead. Depends on how quickly I can move these mission rewards along. I know they can move fast and far and anywhere on Earth. That's it. Right? Are they stuck on Earth or? It doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm done. I'll see you again next time. Until then, bye.